Music and Crafts YouTube channel. Today I wanted to show you how I make my Peekaboo car seat covers. I make these by upcycling vintage bed sheets. You can find these on eBay, Mercari, or if you score them at a local thrift store, that sometimes happens too, and that's the best when you can find these at the thrift store locally. I am going to be matching for the other side of the vintage sheet this green square. So I have some plain green fabric. I also make purses, skirts, all kinds of stuff out of these vintage bed sheets. I have Aladdin, I have Lion King, I have Dalmatians, I have Casper the Friendly Ghost, all kinds of stuff. You can find those on my Etsy, and I'll link that down below. Also, you will need fabric scissors. I like to use scissors I only use for fabric. That way it makes it easy to cut the fabric. Alright, so I drew this pretty quickly just to give you some measurements. So the longer side will be 42 by 35. Here's the pattern fabric, solid colored fabric, so you'll need two pieces that are the same length, 42 long and 35. Then you'll need the handles, which are 6 by 8. And then this is just a quick little picture. As you can see, it would flip open so that you can see baby, or you can flip both sides open so that you can see baby, and then it would close, and it has a little slit up the middle, and we will end up cutting that out of the fabric. All right, the next step would be to cut your fabric. So I went off camera and cut this, and I cut it 42 long by 35. For the solid color and for the pattern that's going to be on top for the car seat cover. You can see I have it folded in half here, so it would be right sides together, and then the next step would be to be pinning all the way around. Now that I have it pinned all the way around the edges, I'm going to take it to my sewing machine, making sure to leave an opening so I can turn it right side out at the end. Alright, you're going to take your pinned fabric over to your threaded sewing machine, and you're going to sew all the way around the border with right sides together, leaving about a 3 to 4 inch gap hole so that you can turn it right side out after you sew all the way around the edge. So basically just around the perimeter. Make sure to leave a hole though so you can turn it around right side out. And of course, if you're like me, you run out of the bobbin thread halfway through a project and have to rethread. And it also calls for a little sparkling water break. Okay, so I sewed two sides, and now I'm on to the other long side. This is the side I'm going to leave a hole on so that I can turn it right side out when I'm finished sewing. Okay, I've got about halfway down that side. Now I'm going to back stitch a little bit and forward stitch, and then cut both sides of the thread. Pull them out so that they don't get lost. Then line up your already sewn stitch and go about a couple inches down, put your foot down again, and then you can continue sewing all the way around. Okay, so before you turn it right side out, you're going to take your tape measure and measure 17, which is half of 35 on the length side. That is the 35. And this is where we're going to make our peekaboo slit. And so I can't find my cutting board that has the measurements on it, but I'm going to use this board that has a straight line, and I'm going to hit it right at the 17. Once you've measured your 17 across from your 35, so that's half of 35, then you're going to come over here and do a straight line all the way up to 14. And this is going to be the slit that you'll be able to check on the baby. So we're just cutting a slit up, and then we'll sew each side of the slit so that it's just basically a little opening to take a little peek at the baby. Okay, then you're going to take that slit that you just cut all the way up to 14 and 17 over, that I showed in the last little clip and sew the V. And we're still have our right sides together. We haven't flipped it yet. So let's sew up, back stitch a little bit. That's nice. Now we're gonna go to the other side of the V. I'm just feeding my fabric, and I fed my needle inside the fabric so I could turn it easily, just to hold it in place. Keep my stitch, and I'm gonna put my foot back down and sew a little further down. After you sewed all the way around, you're going to take your corner pieces and just snip the corner so it's easier of all four sides to turn out right. Do that to all four corners, and then just throw away those little triangles. You're going to find the long side, which you left your opening, which mine is right here. I'm going to stick my hand in and turn it right sides out. So pull the fabric to turn it right sides out. You can take your scissors or a pointy object and just poke out your corners so they look nice. At each corner, go to the other corner. Step would be to heat up your iron. Take this to the iron after you poke out all four corners. Iron it flat so that it's easy to do a top stitch all the way around. Alright, so now I'm filming the rest of this video the very next day. So you should have something that looks like this. Your slit should be at the bottom. Make sure if you have a pattern that faces a certain way that you make sure it will hang right on the car seat. So the car seat handles or the things that attach to the car seat handle will be about right here. And then you'll be able to flip over to see baby. You just want to make sure that the picture looks right depending on what type of fabric you're using. So our next step will be to sew around all the way around, even up the V to give it a nice finished look. Then we'll add our little straps on to the middle part. I'm going to find that little opening, make sure that I fold in each edge and pin it so that I make sure that I sew both sides of the fabric together and that it has a nice clean look. I like to take the edge where I have the opening and start there first. So you're going to start at the corner, go all the way around. Alright, after you've sewn around the whole perimeter, including the little slit, you should have a nice finished edge. Next, we're going to work on the straps that go in the middle. Before we do that, I wanted to show you the one that I made for my son. My son is now 3. This is a Lion King car seat cover. Right now, you should have your two little 6x8 straps for the car seat cover. You're going to put right sides together, so just fold it in half and then sew the long side together at your sewing machine. Then we'll flip it around, sew this part and the bottom. Alright, so originally I was going to use snaps and I kind of edited that part out. I actually did make them with the snaps, but the snaps kept popping off and not staying on. I'm not not sure if it's just these brand in particular from Walmart or if it is just I'm not putting them on right or something. The only thing I was worried about with that is that this could be a choking hazard if they popped off and were near a baby. So before, when I made these before, I used Velcro. So I'm gonna use Velcro again. I made the straps again and I put Velcro on either end. They will wrap around the handle. The handle will be through here, and then they will unvelcro and Velcro. The only thing you have to worry about with these is putting them through the dryer. Usually the adhesive starts to wear away when you wash and dry them. So that's what I'll tell the person receiving this as a gift, just to hang it to dry instead of putting it through the dryer. Alright, the last part is you're going to sew the straps on. So I've just folded my cover in half. Here is the slit, and then I've taken my tape measure and I've laid it between 10 and 12 for this side, the left side, and 23 and 25 inches. And then I'm going to pin it right here and just sew it on, and make sure you have it nice and steady on there. Do a couple extra stitches just in case, because this will be what it will hold it over the handle over the car seat.